Hey there, this is Reverend Rich. You know, I wasn't just transported down here from the Starship Enterprise. I came from somewhere. Where it came from was the combination of egg and sperm. We all know that, being grown-ups here. What I didn't realize is that I was born once in the flesh, and I was born again. Now, I've written a book, Eternity Answered. Now listen, we're all going to have to deal with eternity someday. It was once the way you were. I placed my entire trust in science. I believed every word that the scientists say. They would say that the more we explore science, the more we'll disprove the existence of God. Now, I started off by saying I was born again. You can be born again too. Now here's the thing. A lot of people say, I don't want to hear that nonsense. Well, I was once the way you are. I was once a believer in the sciences and all these different things. Not that science doesn't have its place, but science only explains what a creator did. The creator put things in place, set things in order. I mean, scientists even say that if there's just one little speck of the things that go into the making up of the universe that were just off by a little bit, just like in the same way that our planet revolves around the sun in that Goldilocks zone, then none of this would have occurred. None of this would have come to be. We would never have sprung to life, basically. Now, here's what happens. You know, as I was thinking the way you were thinking, that like, this guy's nuts. Yeah, well, I thought this guy was nuts too. There was a fellow that came across my path. He was a guy. He was inspecting our septic system. And all the reasons why. But we got into a conversation about about creation. I was talking about, evolution. Yeah, we all just sprung from some primordial ooze, and one thing led to another, lightning, and the right combination of chemicals, and everything just came to be, and then little by little, one little thing mutated into another, and on and on and on. And he says, oh no, we were created by God. And I said, come on, you don't believe that, do you? And he said, yeah, I believe that. I firmly believe that. And I basically just poo-hooed him completely after he had left. I would say to my wife, that guy's crazy. He's nuts. But now that I've come into an encounter with the true God of the universe who actually did create all these things, I don't suppose he was that crazy after all. For instance, a mutation, evolution. Darwin talks about mutations. He didn't know anything about microbiology or anything at the time, and none of that stuff was even present at the time when he presented his evolution theory, which, by the way, is taught as fact now. It's not a theory anymore. In any event, his thinking was that things mutated, and then the survival of the fittest. They would adapt to their environment and all these different things. But if you look at it in the reality of the case of mutations never mutate toward anything positive. It's always a negative mutation, just like a cancer cell run amok. And not to mention the fact that mutations, apart from the fact that mutations lead to destruction, not construction, in the same way, we've tried throughout all of history to cross species. And the closest thing we've come to that is the jackass, I believe, a horse and a donkey or whatever. But their genes were essentially the same. They were basically both from the same family, basically. This is also, if you want to think about it, a reason for there to have been racism. Because back in the days of Jim Crow and all these different times in the past when slavery was there, and that's regrettably so in this country, people would use the example that, well, look at a gorilla and look at the black man and see the similarities. But we white people, we supreme white people, have evolved beyond that, and our skin tone changed. Now you can see how that was all rooted in hatred and ignorance. So why can't you take the same sense that how that was rooted and apply it to the evolution theory, remember, not a fact, and apply the same logic to that. How did species just come to be? They branch off. I mean, you look at the evolutionary trees. There's more unknowns than there are knowns. You know, they originally said that one thing led to another, like the fish landed on the sea, it formed legs, and it became a turtle, and then it was an amphibian, but then it eventually started growing feathers, and it would fly, and another one would grow legs and walk upright. I mean, come on, are you that gullible to believe that this could actually happen on its own without an intelligent design? So what I'm telling you here is that you've got to start thinking about it. You've got to start thinking about this seriously. And in the same way I started this whole topic with that I was born again, well, before you dismiss that totally out of hand as nonsense, think about this. Like I said, I wasn't just transported here from the Starship Enterprise. My molecules weren't just somehow all just disseminated and then reintegrated when I landed on Earth. No. I came from a mom and a dad, who came from a mom and a dad, who came from a mom and a dad, and right on back. I was born once of flesh. Now, everybody, whether you were born out of a test tube, you were still born of the flesh. And nobody enters this world without having to go through that process of being born. Okay? We were born physically. What I'm saying is that once you come to a knowledge of the truth that there is an intelligent designer called God who created all things, then you take into consideration that you say, oh, how narrow-minded it is that only through Jesus can we come to know God. Well, isn't it only through the birth canal that we come to be alive on this earth physically? Why is it such a stretch to think that we don't come into the spirit world, born into the spirit world the same way, one way in? Because there's only one way out. Now, this book that I've written, it's very short. It's only 107 pages. It's a quick read. I examine some of what science tries to promote as fact, and I basically refute that and debunk it in the sense that it's just another faith. It's just like Judaism or Hinduism or any other ism. This is scientism, or whatever. They place their entire faith in experts that know more than we do, and so most of us of average intelligence don't question them. So what I'm saying to you is this. Check this book out. It's not that much. You can find it on any platform, Amazon, Books, Barnes & Noble, and so forth. You look it up. It's Reverend Rich Marconi, Eternity Answered. Now, this may answer a lot of the questions that you have. And I don't purport to know all the answers. But I'll tell you, comes about as close as it can to answering the age-old question, what is the infinite? The infinite, I'll give you a little spoiler alert, the infinite is God. God is infinite. He always was, he's here now, and he always will be. He knows the before, he knows the current, and he knows what's to come. You can tap into that by being born again, by being born into the spirit, not just the flesh. And I encourage you to buy this book. Thanks for listening. I appreciate it.